I could not summon anything that felt like enthusiasm from Amin yesterday. Amin, a soccer fan, about the fact that the MLS season was starting with a single game, with Miami having the most star power, Inter Miami having the star power and the most interest in the league, the highest ticket prices. Every game that they have is going to be a spectacle, and they add to it the expectations now of the roster is evidently very strong, as talented as any in the league when you're just talking about names that have some age on them. And then they win last night 2-0. Mike, you didn't like the gouging around the ticket prices. You care about soccer very deeply. You care about this team. You've cared about this team. You've followed this team when this team is bad. They have a great atmosphere at the games. It's different than just about anything other than the Baseball Caribbean series down here in terms of flavor and volume and party and ethnicity. Did you go last night?
No, I supported my Miami Hurricanes. Stellar effort against another fellow blue blood in the Duke Blue Devils. I actually got to see my team lose twice. Went to a baseball game prior to. Had a milkshake. We were winning. Left that.
What'd you get?
I had the JD. I like the JD. It's got Nutella in it. And then I saw Duke beat the brakes off of Miami. I did not renew my Inter Miami season tickets because of the price. It's the most expensive ticket in global soccer. MLS is not that product. I think part of the appeal in MLS is that you get bang for your buck. And I actually going to take the opportunity here to talk about our partners over at GameTime, because what I did yesterday was I ran to GameTime to see if my decision to not renew my tickets would be validated, because I was doing the math and knowing where the secondary market was going with Inter Miami tickets. I knew that I could have essentially the same season tickets for half the price. We're one game in. It was a kickoff game. You'd think there would be a lot of interest there. There wasn't.
Really?
There were great deals on GameTime, great flash deals. I got to see what my seat would look like and all that great stuff. No hidden fees, all upfront pricing. And I also checked some of the competitors out there, and GameTime did have some of the best prices. I want you and the listening audience real quick to listen to this live read ad before I get to MLS.
What? This is an ad?
Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. And thank you so much for your support. I've heard back from GameTime, and they're really happy with how you guys are heeding my advice. So appreciate it. Download the GameTime app, create an account, use code Dan for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code DAN for $20 off. Download GameTime today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. If you find a lower price somewhere else, GameTime will match it and then some. I love GameTime. So here's what's going on with Inter Miami. Boy, did they get those prices wrong. Oh, did they get those prices wrong? There is no way people are going to pay those prices, and I feel bad for the people that actually did re-up and decide, 2.5 times what I was paying is totally rational, as we don't get public subsidies and taxpayer money going to this stadium.
137% more than the defending champions is what they're charging for tickets in a market that in a market that has supported some soccer occasionally, but not that far from Miami.
Yeah, they were touting that the season tickets sold out before, and you can just say stuff. You don't know what's that's just the allotment that they had. And they said, it's a sellout. I think there's a lot of holes that you can poke here, and the GameTime app's not telling lies when it comes to the interest.
Counterpoint, David Grutman, Will Smith, and Chad Ochocinco.
That's all that matters, I guess.
Come on, man.
But
Groot hospitality.
I think MLS has a lot of issues going on. No one really cared that there were scab referees calling that game yesterday.
Including one named Jonathan Wiener, apparently.
No way.
Did you guys see this? Someone tweeted this at us. There was a scab ref named Jonathan Wiener.
Was he smoking heaters in the middle of the game?
I think, excuse me,
buddy.
$5.
He had action on the game and was reffing it. It was a huge conflict.
I think MLS is at an inflection point right now because they brought in all these big names. Miami is a jewel of a franchise for where we're headed, which is in 2026, where I challenge every legacy media talent to bone up on the sport and not embarrass themselves, because it is the biggest thing in the world, literally, that is coming here in 2026. And Miami is a huge part of that competition, and this franchise that is presently playing in Fort Lauderdale is a huge part of that ramp up. MLS is confusing because of all the cup competitions, and I don't want to get into how there's like 4 different competitions going on at the same time.
We don't want to do that again, right?
There's 4 of
But
them.
there is something really bad going on right now that is confusing to explain. I'm going to do my very best.
Please.
The oldest cup competition in this country, it's over 100 years old, the U.S. Open Cup, which is open to all divisions of professional soccer in this country, is like MLS at an inflection point in that MLS doesn't make enough money off of it, so they're not going to send the top tier over there. Now, there's some negotiations still ongoing, and they may make it optional. But what you have is the most prestigious cup competition in this country, a country that doesn't have a proud soccer tradition, actually has something with legitimate history behind it. And because it wasn't made for television or the streaming rights deal isn't up to snuff, the top tier of professional soccer in this country is opting out on it, saying, no, we'll just opt for Leagues Cup, a 2-year-old competition between us and Liga MX, created by Apple, made for television, more money in that. Who do you think you are? Who does anyone think they're... First off, the goal in Inter Miami charging the ticket prices that they do, more than Manchester City does. Erling Haaland in the FA Cup will stroll into Luton Town or Crawley.
That's a great sentence.
Yeah.
And he will play a game, and he won't complain about it. Who the hell are you, MLS, to complain about playing Charleston Battery? We're trying to grow the game. It is an important part in the calendar for lower divisions of soccer in this country when a big MLS club does make the trip to Charleston Battery or Indy 11. That's the beauty and prestige of these cup competitions is that you can have these giant killing moments, and that turns new markets into more passionate soccer fans, and it's a wasted opportunity. And this one, damn it, I'm going to do the Dan Le Batard thing. It all comes down to greed.
Mike,
This is not a time to be greedy.
You don't want that spin, though, Mike.
There is more. If everyone just handles the next 2 years right and doesn't try to gouge its customers and really takes their time to invest in this product in this country, you have something in the World Cup in 2026 that can set up generational wealth for players to come down the road. You just can't screw it up before you get there. And I feel like U.S. soccer, which is bending the knee at MLS because they make so much money off of MLS that they almost have to. U.S. soccer is really blowing this opportunity that they have in 2026 before we even get there.
Mike, in the words of Gene Wilder in Blazing Saddles, what did you expect when they got Messi? Welcome, Sonny. Make yourself at home. Marry my daughter. These are simple folk. They were going to turn him into the biggest cash machine that league has ever seen. This was all what it was about. You thought it was about, hey, guys, I think we should get Messi to make soccer bigger. No! They said we should get Messi so we can make millions of dollars. And any opportunity to exhibit him where they're not making money is not an opportunity that they're interested in.
I mean, in your words, I knew that they would turn him into a cash cow. I just didn't think to the extent of 2.5 times
Of course.
Your ticket price.
Of course.
And to be the most expensive club soccer ticket on the planet. You can get hospitality packages for Real Madrid.
Mike, they
for
are
a much better
They
buck.
are banking on American bandwagonism. They knew, hey, are most of the soccer fans in this country like Amin, rational, calm people who say, yeah, the guy's good. He's no
Wearing
Diego
wrinkled shirts.
Maradona. He's no Diego Maradona. No, they're like, everyone's like, oh my God, he's the best player ever. Give me all, take all my money. That's what they were banking on. And they were right.
Didn't they? Apple stop with the free trials, the T-Mobile links, all of that stuff. Messi was not free to anybody last night, correct? There were no abilities to watch that game live anymore with deals the way they were doing it with the soft sale at the end of last year on a last place team.
There are some opportunities to watch MLS on broadcast television. There's still carve-outs in their deal, but that's you. God, a soccer fan in this country has it pretty freaking bad.
You gotta pay.
I literally
barrier to
have
entry.
to subscribe to every streaming service there is. And if I want to watch South American soccer, I'm subscribing to streaming services you've never heard of because I want to watch this game. I pay like $300 a month to watch soccer. It's not all consolidated in one place. And I'll support MLS. I think the Apple model is a fascinating one. I want it to work, even though I'm the person that suffers for it because I'm a huge soccer fan. But I do think that they should open up the pathway here and make it easier to follow. And then after 2026, cash out. I think if you approach the next 2 years the right way, you really make this more of an inclusive event. And you get people really excited to learn more about it so that you can talk about things like the U.S. Open Cup and not see your entire teammates totally check out because it's just not something they want to give any bandwidth to.
Not to sound like David Sampson here, Mike, but I don't really think anyone cares about the American soccer fans' ease in following the sport. They really just care about your money and see dollar signs right in front of their faces with all of this. It's I think, same conversation we're happening with college football. They don't really care about the college football playoff games. They really care about being able to sell an extra playoff game to a network, and that network maybe being able to sell it to another network.
Yeah.
And revenue.
And from going through an academy system, how rife with price gouging this sport is in this country. The beautiful thing about soccer and why it's the global phenomenon it is, and why it's the biggest thing to take our time away from our everyday normal lives, why it's the globe's the biggest pastime is it's incredibly easy. You can do it on any field in America, sandy lots.
You don't even need a ball.
You don't even need a ball.
Socks and roll them.
This has been the complaint about youth soccer in America from a lot of people for years, and why I think it reached an inflection point this summer with the U.S. Women's National Team flopping in the World Cup because it is so expensive to play soccer in this country. There is a massive barrier to entry, and it's expensive to be a fan of soccer in this country too now.
We have that tired conversation where someone will put out a graphic of LeBron playing goalie, and what if the best athletes in America played soccer?
Now you're talking. Hold on.
Yeah.
LeBron at goalie.
Yeah. Odell at the striker.
That's never been
okay,
done
keep
before.
going.
Yeah.
They wouldn't. They had access to basketball, and even that you could speak to, like the youth system over there and how corrupt that has become.
Shit, man. Now my kid's in it.
Soccer has become. It's almost equestrian compared to where it is the rest of the planet. You don't have the stories of someone coming out of favela out of nowhere to rise to prominence and set up generational wealth for their families, because in order to get anywhere in this country, in order to develop, your dad has to pay $40,000 so you can play with a traveling 8-year-old team.